Hey, this is Steve with Priority Bicycles, and today we're going to go over how to install your Priority rear rack on your Continuum Onyx. When you open the package for your Priority rear rack, you'll find the rack itself and a small parts bag filled with bolts. In the small parts bag, you'll find 3 sets of bolts, 2 with a thicker thread that you can disregard, and 4 bolts with a thinner thread. 2 of these bolts are shorter, so we can disregard those as well, and all we'll want to keep is the 2 longer M5 bolts and 2 washers as well. We can put everything else aside. The tools you'll need to install the rack are a 5mm Allen key and a 4mm Allen key. Before you begin installing your rear rack, it's easier if you use your hands to spread the rack legs a little bit. Don't worry, they're made to stretch so that they can fit a bunch of different bicycles. So what you're going to want to do is use both hands to kind of pry these guys apart and make it a little bit easier just to seat over the fender struts and frame dropouts. To begin installing, use your hands to stretch the legs over the fender struts and line up with the mounts near the dropouts. Make sure that you use the second dropout that's vacant, unless you don't have 2. If you only have 1 of these and the fender is installed into it, go ahead and install your rack legs directly over your fender struts. If you have the second mount, always use this. So to begin, we're going to line up these rack legs with the frame mounts and grab our M5 bolts and washers to put through the rack leg and start to loosely thread into the frame mount. Use your hands to make sure it's going in smooth and not crooked so you don't strip out the mount. Repeat the exact same on the opposite side. And use your hand to lightly thread that guy in. Grab your 4mm Allen key to finish both of these bolts off. Loosely tighten these down so that you can position the rack forward or backward. Do the same on the opposite side. And then position your rack so that it's level with the ground. From here, we're going to take our 5mm Allen key and loosen the pinch bolts on the rack arms counterclockwise, and don't remove those bolts. Just make sure that you can position your rack arms forward or backward. Position your arm just above the mount holes on your frame and loosely tighten the rack arms back down. Take your 4mm Allen key. Remove the bolt completely from the frame. And take one hand and bend down this arm to meet the frame mount. Use your fingers to loosely tighten this guy back in so that you don't strip out the frame or anything like that. And once it goes in smooth, use your Allen key to really tighten that bolt down. Do the exact same on the opposite side. Take your 5mm Allen key to loosen that bolt again. Position your arm just above the frame mount and tighten your bolt back down so that the arm stays put. Use your 4mm Allen key to remove the frame mount bolt. Remove completely. Force that arm down to the hole. Loosely thread that bolt back in. Use your 4mm Allen key to tighten everything up. Make sure you get it in there really tight so that rack arm doesn't move at all. Tighten that guy back down, and then do the exact same on the opposite side. Use your 4mm Allen key to tighten down the bolts at the dropouts. Make sure those are really tight so the rack doesn't move at all. And then use your 5mm Allen key to tighten down the pinch bolts at the rack arms so that your rack doesn't move back or forth. Do the same on the opposite side, and you're all set. Once everything's tight on your rack, you're set and ready to hit the road. If you have any questions, please feel free to call, text, or email info@prioritybicycles.com. Thanks.